This is the answer key for the practice work that you're going to do today on lesson 1.7, which is focusing on rounding decimals. The Explore and Grow activity that's on page 39 has you plotting the numbers on the number line, which numbers round to 3, which numbers round to 4, and how do you know. So we have the number 3 here and we have the number 4, and we know the halfway mark or halfway point is going to be 3.5. That means that everything from 3 to 3.5 is going to look more like 3.1, 3.2, 3.3, 3.4, 3.5, 3.6, 3.7, 3.8, 3.9, and then 4. In between those, there's also going to be from 3 to 3.1, there's going to be 3.01, 3.02, 3.03, 3.04, 3.05, 3.06, 3.07, 3.08, 3.09 before you hit 3.1. And so that's the skill that we're understanding, is that in a number line, we're so used to the large whole numbers that we need to now train our brain to be able to do these smaller numbers where we're breaking them up into now tenths and hundredths. What does that look like on a number line? So when we take a look at, say, 3.09, that is physically closer to 3. So I'm going to round that number to 3 rather than now round it to 4. The numbers here, 3.51, 3.6, 3.77, 3.9, all of them are closer to 4 than they are to 3. And just like we used in rounding before, we always have 5, that halfway mark, as our determiner to decide whether or not we round down or whether we round up. So visually putting them on the number line is going to help you to determine whether you should round up or you should round up or you should round down. Now you can use a number line to round other numbers to the nearest tenth as well. That's just, again, getting you to repeat the same activity so that you catch the pattern and you understand how to round decimals. Okay, this is now an example just to visually, again, explain the halfway point, and that I'm going to plot the number down, and then I'm going to look visually to determine, is it closer to this side or is it closer to this side, knowing that the halfway point is really what I'm using to determine if I round up or if I'm going to round down. In this case, 7.36 or 7 36 hundredths is going to be closer to 7 4 tenths than it's going to be to 7 3 tenths. The example here shows us that when we use place value to round to the nearest whole number, we also need to take a look at the other numbers as well, especially if we're going to the nearest hundredth too. So if I'm asking me to go to the nearest whole number, that's the 2, the ones place, I'm going to look directly to the right of it and I'm going to determine, is it greater than 5 or is it less than 5? Since this is less than 5, I'm going to keep it the number that it is 2. Now, if I'm going to do the hundredths place, if I ask you to round to the nearest hundredth, you're going to find the hundredths place, you're going to look to the right, you're going to ask yourself, is it 5 or is it greater? If it's 5 and greater, then you're going to round up. So that's why rounding up would give you 2 19 hundredths. That's what the correct answer would be. So same patterns that we've learned from rounding in 3rd and 4th grade. We're still going to be looking to the right to determine if we're going to be rounding up or down or staying the same. And we're still looking to see if it's 5 and greater means to round up, or if it's 4 or less, it's going to stay the same. All right, so let's take a look at some of these other problems. I want to round to the number that the place is underlined. So I'm rounding to the 10th, which means I'm going to look to the right. That number is larger than 5, so I'm going to round up, which is why my answer is going to be 12 7 tenths. I'm looking at the hundredths place. It's a 3. Let me look to the right. It's higher than 5. It's a 9, so I'm going to round up. My answer is going to look like 0.44 or 44 hundredths. I'm now going to round to the whole number, so I look to the right. It's 5 or greater, which means I'm going to round up to 3. Here, I'm going to look at the tenths place. That's correct. I'm going to look to the right. It's a 0. That means I'm not going to change it at all. It's going to remain the same. It's going to stay 5 4 tenths. Rounding from 0.68 or 68 hundredths to the nearest tenth means I need to look at the tenths place, look immediately to the right of it. It's greater than 5, so I'm going to round that tenths place up to 7. Now I'm going to round 1.715 or 1 715 thousandths to the nearest hundredth. That means I'm going to look at the hundredths place. It's a 1. I look to the right. It is 5 or greater. That means this number is going to go up. So it's now going to be 1.72 or 1 72 hundredths. Round 4.07 to the nearest whole number. Here's my whole number. I look to the right. That number is not 5 or greater, so my whole number stays the same as 4. I'm rounding to the nearest tenth. I'm going to take a look very carefully at the tenths place, which is a 2. I look to the right. It's greater than 5, so I'm going to round up. It's going to become 0.3 or 3/10. Your next practice problems have you again going through the rounding process of just more practice, again, of you knowing how to do the same thing that I've been showing you over and over again. Looking for the place, looking to the right, and determining, is it 5 or greater or is it 4 or less? It's going to determine what changes. So I look to the right, it's less, that means it's going to stay the same. I look to the right, it's greater than 5, I'm rounding up. I look to the right, it's 5, so it means I'm rounding up. I look to the right, it's lower than 5, I'm rounding down. Now, I didn't round it down to 333 because it says specifically that is the tens place. I want to round down either to 30 or I'm rounding up to 40. Okay, round 2.619 to the nearest whole number. Again, it's a 2, so I look to the right. There's a 6. I would round this up to 3. Round 7.825 to the nearest tenth. I look at the tenth. I look what's next to it. That number is lower than 5, so it's going to remain the same. It stays at 7 8/10. Round 92.701 to the nearest 10. That means it's either going to go as low as 90 or it's going to go as high as 100. I look at the place. I look to the right. It's lower than 5, which means I'm rounding down to 90. Round 4.263 or 4 263 thousandths to the nearest hundredth. I find the hundredths place has a 6. I look to the right. It's lower than 5. I'm going to keep it the way it is. It's going to now be as a final number 4.26 or 4 26 hundredths. If I take this number and I round it to the nearest whole number, that means I look to the right. It's higher than 5. It's going to be a whole number of 1. If I were to look at the nearest tenths, I'd look to the right. It's lower than 5, so I keep it the same as 0.8. If I'm going to the hundredths, I'm going to look in the thousandths place. It is higher than 5, so I'm going to be rounding up. My answer is going to become 83 hundredths. You can see the pattern that we are making here and carrying on as we determine, should we round up or should we round down? Okay, for number 18, we have round 18 and 62 thousandths. If I'm going to do it to a nearest whole number and I round it, I look to the right. 0 means that I'm going to keep it as 18. If I go to the nearest tenth, I'm going to look at the tenth spot and look to the right. 6 is greater than 5, so I'm going to round up. It's going to become 18 1/10. If I'm going to round to the nearest hundredth, I look at the thousandths place. It's lower than 5, so that means I'm going to keep my hundredth the same, and it's going to be 18 6 hundredths. A baby harp seal weighs 25 482 thousandths pounds. If we round this weight to the nearest tenth of a pound, that means I look at the tenth place, I look to the right, it's greater than 5, so my answer should be 25 5/10 of pounds. Okay, name the place value to which the number was rounded. If I went from this number to this number, that means we rounded to the hundredths. We used the thousandths to determine how we were going to round it to the hundredths. When I look at this number to this number, I see the change has been in the first place, the tenths place. When I look here, I see no decimal afterwards, which means we were now rounding in the ones spot because it didn't go from 10 to 20. It just went up 1 to 6. So that's how I know it was the ones that I was rounding. Explain what happens when you round 2.999 to the nearest tenth. Well, if I were to go to the nearest tenth and look to the next of it, I would round it up to 3.0 because the value before the tenths is 9, so the tenths increase by 1. To what place should you round 23.459 to get the greatest number and then to get the least number. If I want to make this the greatest number, then I'm going to focus on making it 23.5. If I want to make it again, so the tenths is going to give me the 23.5. It's greater than all the other rounded values. And then if I want to make the least amount of number, I'm going to go to the tens place, because then that would make it round down to 20. And that would be less than all the other rounded values. When we think about this in real life, because that's important, there's a question of when am I ever going to use this in real life? When am I ever going to round to a decimal? Think about it with money. So when we're talking about gasoline prices, which we see change all the time in our neighborhoods, gasoline prices are listed to the nearest thousandth of a dollar. The final price is then rounded to the nearest hundredth. How much does a customer pay for 1 gallon of regular gasoline at the station shown? Think. How do you know? What do you need to find? How will you solve this? Well, you can use place value to round the price of 1 gallon of regular gasoline, that is $2.799, or $2.799 thousandths. And we can take a look at the hundredths place. We'll look to the right. 9 is greater than 5, so I'm going to be rounding it up, which means the number is actually going to become $2.80. So even though it's written on the sign as 2.799, I'm actually paying $2.80 a gallon for gas. The next time you're getting gas, you might be able to tell your family what they're really paying for each gallon of gas. So what is the length of the praying mantis rounded to the nearest hundredth? Well, bugs are very small, specifically insects, so they're going to be in decimal form. If I take a look at the praying mantis, I see 3 and 254 thousandths. If I want to round it to the nearest hundredth, I look at the hundredths place, look immediately to the right. It is lower than 5, which means I'm going to keep it as 3.25. What is the length of the cicada rounded to the nearest tenth? I look at it, I see the tenths place is a 4. I look to the hundredths, it's an 8. It's greater than 5. It means I'll be rounding this up to 1.5 inches. What is the length of the hissing cockroach rounded to the nearest tenth? Well, I look at the hissing cockroach, find the tenth, look to the right of it. It is a greater number than 5, so I'm going to be rounding up. It's going to be 2.7 inches. You have about 3 coins. Write one possible combination of coins that represents the least amount of money that you could have. Write another combination of coins for the greatest amount of money that you could have. So the least amount of money that you could have would be 10 quarters, and that would give you $2.50. The greatest amount that you could make would be taking 13 quarters, 2 dimes, and 4 pennies to make $3.49. You do not have to have those exact answers. Those are sample answers, which means you could have come up with different combinations. Your homework is going to be 1.7 for today, and you're going to be completing both of the pages. I'm going to tell you exactly what those pages are. Those are pages 43 and 44, and I'd like for you to either complete the evens or the odds. So this has been your practice key for the practice work, and we'll check over the homework in class together.